Hi guys, it's Baby Peach, and we're back. We're here with a new game. Once upon a Hallow's Eve. Now every time I try to mess with this game, it has floors closed itself. So let's see if we can start it, and we'll go from there. I have no idea what it's about. I just know it's like a dating sim. So, new game for the both of us. Are you telling me that you managed to convince this girl to go with us? Sheena. My best friend's head nods up and down, looking enthusiastically at our other friend. Mylan. I know, I couldn't believe it either. Just imagine her hiking up a mountain. Just imagine all the facials and peels she's going to need afterwards to mend that skin. I roll my eyes at my friend's teasing. Mylan smiles, facing me. Are you sure you really wouldn't mind the sunburns? I sigh, shrugging. The truth is, I don't really want to go hiking to a creepy old mountain. It's quite scary, and not to mention there must be a whole bunch of bugs in that place. Mylan puts a hand on my shoulder, probably recognizing my worried face. Hey Lee, you're gonna love it, alright? I smile back at her. To be honest, I'm not quite sure. My name is Peachy. I can't believe that I'm already a graduating college student. And one final out-of-town trip with my friends before we graduate, we've decided to do something different. How different? We'll see. The hard, wet ground of the forest feels cold to my cheeks. Hard, wet ground? I immediately stand up in shock, surprised at my current location. This turns out to be a very bad idea, though, as I feel a jolt of pain course through my whole body. My right leg and arm in particular feel like they're burning. Ah! I crumple back down to the ground in a heap, sobbing, looking around me, seeing the dense and dark forest. It feels almost surreal to be here. What am I doing here? I rack my brain for any hint or answer. Sorry. My friend and I are on a hike to a popular mountain rest house. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but I don't see my friends anywhere. Where could they possibly be? I dig out my phone in my pocket carefully, my arm still screaming to me in agony as I make the slightest of movements. I realize in horror that the cracked screen was an effect of what brought me here to this dilemma, a landslide. There was a landslide, and we barely managed to avoid it. Help! Help me! Help! I glance at my cracked phone again, feeling more desperate than ever. Darn, how am I supposed to make a call now? I decide to stay where I am, not minding the dirt on my beautiful dress. It hurts to move. A flash of lightning shocks me for a moment, and I immediately decide to run, to the best of my abilities, to the nearest shelter. It feels like my whole body is on fire, despite the cold mountain air. But I'm in the middle of a forest with an injured body and no means of communication. Where could I even find a shelter here? I zigzag through the densely populated forest, trying to look for any path of sorts to follow. After a few minutes of searching, however, it becomes very evident to me that there's no hope to find a path here. Sobbing once more, I sit back down on the dirty ground, squeezing my arm tightly to stop the pain. No, Peachy Lee. You can't stay here. You're gonna die in this cold. You have to go. Bracing myself for the pain, I force myself to stand up. I was feeling another painful jolt run up through my arm. I'm tired of struggling to read. I'm putting on my glasses. Picking a one direction, I decide to move forward and hope for the best. Lightning continues striking the sky. I wrap my good arm around my body, hoping that my own body heat would be enough to keep me from shivering too much. Rain has started to pour, and I'm feeling terribly cold. Right now, all I want to do is curl up and cry somewhere. I really need to find some shelter, though. After walking hopelessly for about an hour, I notice a decrepit-looking mansion up ahead. It looks really ancient. I think it may even be haunted. Should I take a risk? Well, let's risk it. I got no choice. I have to seek shelter tonight or I'm gonna die from the cold. I jump towards the mansion, trying my hardest to calm my nerves. It's pretty hard to do, especially when half of your body is screaming in agony. Don't worry, Peachy, you can make it. Despite looking very ancient, I'm starting to believe that there are actually people who live in this place. The grass seems well trimmed. That must mean something, right? I crane my neck to peek inside the vast yard. To my surprise, something blue-looking suddenly darts from somewhere nearby. What was that? My voice may be drowned out by the rain, but it's enough for me to hear the fear in my own voice. I turn around looking for the place where I saw the blue thing, and from my peripheral vision, I see it again. A flame. A bluish-looking flame. What? My voice shakes with fear, and once again I realize that I am all alone in a dark and creepy forest. I feel tears well up in my eyes as I start running towards the mansion, panicking now. I want to scream for the door to be open, but I'm too scared of anyone else hearing me. Running my fingers through my hair, I try to steady my breathing before knocking 3 times on the old wooden doors. With a creaking sound, the door slowly opens to reveal half a face looking at me. A shocked face, to be exact. Before I could say anything, the face disappears inside, and I hear the person running away. What the hell? I stand completely clueless to what I should do next. To my surprise, the door opens again, with the same creaking sound. A tall young man stands between me and the door, looking at me very suspiciously. I put on my best smile and open my mouth to speak, just to have the door slammed in front of my face. The nerve. Huh? If you don't want me, then I... Strange flashes of blue dart around in my peripheral vision again, and I find myself desperately knocking on the doors. What do you want? Please, let me in. I'm not doing that. Please, you just have to let me in, please. The young man opens the door and looks suspiciously down on me. Staring at him, I could tell he has no plans of letting me in whatsoever. My heart sinks like lead when the complete severity of my situation starts dawning on me. What did I do to deserve this? I see the young man open his mouth, but before he can say anything, everything turns black around me. I wake up to the feeling of a warm, fluffy blanket, so unlike the cold, damp feeling I had just experienced in my dream. Feeling the soft cotton on my bed underneath me, I sigh. Oh, thank goodness, it was just a dream. The scariest forest, the rain, the blue flames I saw. For a moment there, I thought it was real. Victor, Vaughn, I think she's awake. The sudden voice snaps me out of my daydreaming, and I open my eyes to search for its source. The dark eyes of a dark-haired boy sitting next to my bed meets my gaze. With this start, I realize that I'm laying down on an unfamiliar bed in an unfamiliar room with an unfamiliar boy sitting beside me. Who are you? What are you? Where am I? What did you do to me? The boy looks visibly panicked now and immediately stands up from his chair. Victor, Vaughn, who are you calling? I stretch my right arm towards the boy to point at him, only to realize that it's wrapped in a bandage from my shoulder to my elbow. I stop moving and realize that a slight hint of pain is emanating from my shoulder area. What? I look at the boy once more and recognize his face from earlier. You're that boy from earlier. He just stares at me, not saying anything. Tell me, what am I doing on this bed? I try to sit up, only to feel a jolt run through my leg. Ow! Don't move! Gently, as if to calm me down, he holds his hands out, palm forward. You're hurt. Having calmed down now, I suddenly realized that I'm mostly inside the boy's house. Did I faint? He nods, confirming my worry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for the trouble. Again, the boy just stares at me, quite expressionless. Oop. Before he could reply, though, another voice comes from outside the room. Vern. The door opens and in comes two other young men, immediately heading towards the bed. For a moment, all of my worst fears seemed to have materialized in my head. One of the men, the blonde one, looked down at me, regarding me with a suspicious look in his eyes. I recognized him as the guy who wouldn't let me in earlier. I smiled, preparing to open my mouth so I could thank him for letting me in. However, it seems to make him agitated. Just leave. Go away. What the hell? What? I told you, go away. Just as he was about to pull me from the bed, the other dark-haired man moves closer to him. Vaughn, you know better than to do that. He turns to me, his face a mixture of confusion and curiosity. Who are you? I opened my mouth to answer, but the other guy, Vaughn is his name, I think, moves in between us again. Victor, you can't be serious. There's no need to learn this girl's name. Vaughn turns to me with daggers shooting out of his eyes. Out. Now. What? You heard me. Get out. Wait, you don't understand. Look, I'm really sorry for making such a ruckus earlier. I glance at the boy on the other side of the room. There's a storm out there, and I really need to. I don't care. Just get out. He takes a hold of my good arm, tugging it slightly upwards. What? No, please. You wouldn't want to make a girl wet, would you? Out. I pout sadly, putting on my cutest face. This always works whenever I'm asking for favors. This has a 100% success rate. I tried and tested. Vaughn stares at me for a moment before frowning. Out. Now. My mouth falls open as I realize that my foolproof tactic has just failed. I break free from his grasp and cross my good arm over my chest, holding onto my bandaged arm. What? You aren't such a gentleman, are you? The other man chuckles softly. Vaughn is not a gentleman at all, lady. I turn back to Vaughn, who is currently staring at me with eyes of steel. Why aren't you leaving it? What? I can't believe the rudeness of this guy. Come on, let's listen to her story. But Victor. The young man named Victor only shakes his head. She's hurt, can't you see? You can't just pull her out of bed. He points at me. You, what are you doing here? Me? Yes, you. You don't think I would ask my brother that question, would you? I look back and forth towards them, realizing the resemblance. Just answer his question. Oh. Hello, I'm Peachy Lee. I was on a hike, I think, and then I fell, and now I'm here with nowhere else to go. If it's okay with you, I would like to stay here for the night. It doesn't really seem like the storm will let up anytime soon. The two young men look at each other as if they're thinking of what to do next. I bite my lip in anxiety. I'm already inside, lying on one of their beds. I'm not sure why they're so torn on whether or not they should let me stay. But if they won't let me stay, I'll be forced to stay the night outside. And if I go outside, I'm scared. You're scared of what? Are you scared of the rain? No. In my mind's eye, I suddenly see a flash of blue appear. A shiver runs down my spine as I remember my earlier encounter in the forest. I'm scared of those blue things. But blue? The two men suddenly glance at each other with a frown on their faces. What do you mean, blue? I saw some blue things out there. I'm scared. Victor closes his eyes for a moment, breathing deeply. Vaughn, on the other hand, keeps his arms crossed in front of him, looking extremely annoyed. I decide to ignore him for now, making a mental note to get back at him later. The older man opens his eyes, narrowing them a bit at me. Fine. Vaughn's eyes widen in surprise. You're allowing her to stay here? Vaughn, stop being such a meanie. Victor, don't tell me this girl doesn't irritate you. I make another mental note to totally get back in the sky as soon as I can. Victor looks up at me and down, smiling. She's soaking wet. Let her stay the night. After all, she's already in bed. But Victor... Suddenly, the younger boy from across the room runs behind Victor and looks at him with panic in his eyes.